Parshas Toldos. Ve'ela Toldos Yitzchak ben Avraham. Avram holed is Yitzchak. And then we immediately go into the story of the birth of Yaakov and Esav. We know that Esav ish Yodei Tzayid, Yaakov ish Tam, Yoshev Aholim. Rashi gives us a fantastic vart here, and it seems so simple, and yet it's so profound. Misha eno chorif l'ramos korui tam. If a person is not quick and not able to quickly dissemble, is a great word. It's a nice kosher word for the word lie. L'ramos, to fool. He's called Lovan Horav Rami. Someone who can't fool anybody is called a tam. Here is a vart that's brought down in Menashal Torah on this Rashi, Misha en acharif l'ramos korui tam. And here's the point he's making. A person has an obligation to take all of his midos and hold them in his hand, to be moishel on them. Why? To use them when they're appropriate, and in the appropriate occasion and the appropriate time. Sometimes a person has to use a midah ra'ah l'shem shemayim, as is a very famous saying by Chachamim from Koheles Rabbah, Kol mi shenasa rachman b'makom achzori. If someone's a rachman in a place where he should have been strict or harsh, the b'soif nasa achzor b'makom rachmani. At the end, he'll become an achzor in a place where it was not appropriate. The classic example of that is Shaul HaMelech, who had rachmanis on Amalek, and they wound up massacring and killing out the whole city of Nov. Okay? It's not the midah of rachmanis that's what's important, is how one utilizes it and is able to use it appropriately. Therefore, Rashi is telling us that Misha eno chorif, the Ramois is korit tam. Tam, interestingly enough, we have the four sons on Pesach. We think Tam as these, sweet, innocent kid. But Tam, very, very frequently in Tanakh and in literature, is called a lemala. Someone who's really a simpleton. Someone who doesn't know how to do anything slick or clever or crafty. But that's not what Yaakov is called in the Torah. Rashi says, I'll say it again, someone who is not able to be slick or crafty, is called a tam. Is Yaakov called a tam? No. The Torah says, V'Yaakov ish tam. That's what the Torah is telling us. First and foremost, he was an ish. He was a person who was a master of his tmimistikait. He knew when to use it and when not to use it. As the Pasuk says in Tehillim, Im ikesh tispatal. And he said also, we know that in the Medrash, Achiv ani b'ramoyas, the same way but that Lavan knew that Yaakov was slick. That's what Rashi is saying. Whoever cannot control himself, he's always a tam, and therefore is going to be taken advantage of. He's not at all called to be slick. He's called a tam. He's a tam, not an ish tam. However, Yaakov Avinu, as I said, was able to be mishtamesh with charifus and arimimus when he needed it. For example, when he had to deal with Esav, when he had to deal with Lavan. So that is a very important Musa Haskell for us. Someone who has a nature to be arrogant or blustering or mean has to control that and has to be able to channel his arrogance and his negative personality characteristics into proper channels. Someone who's exuberant, who's excited, who gets very enthusiastic, has to channel his things into the proper channel as well. And someone who's a tam by nature, very simple, very trusting, very, very wanting to believe you, has to know when to control it and when to put it aside when the circumstances require it. We have to be the master of our own fate. There's no such excuse by us, like the Goyim have, temporary insanity. There's no such a thing. We have to be the master of our own fate. We have to be in control of what we are given and utilize it l'shem Hashem and for Vodas Hashem and Bezos Hashem. In that way, we're able to make ourselves better and better and improve our avodah and bring us to the ultimate goal of shleimus. Good Shabbos.